So Cher thought it was very important that I mentioned she's LARPing because of our Hawkeye stuff. She's just very happy that she finally gets to actually LARP and realize, without a shadow of a doubt, 100% sure it is not a sex thing. I hope she is having fun. It still blows my mind, the immediate assumption, oh, it's a sex thing. It's gotta be. I wonder how many people think that.
Must be a sex thing. Yeah.
I mean, you hear a weird word, you make an assumption. Honestly, if you follow that rule for a while, it's going to end out good for you. Like, you just hear a weird big word, yeah, that's probably a sex thing. And you might be right. I mean, I'm not going to give examples because I don't want to get taken down by YouTube, but...
It depends on the website you're on. Let's leave it at
that. I could give examples, that's all I'll say. Welcome, everybody. I'm very sick, and also Jack is here. Say hi, Jack.
Hello, I'm here.
Jack is my nurse for the day, I guess, while I am in my agony, but also we are here to talk about She-Hulk.
Yeah, my degree's in animation. It's a bit more media-related than health.
You could draw me a cure for my illness? That would help.
Yeah, I'll draw a handful of pills. So.
I'm just saying, if I had the choice between a hardcore surgery or watching cartoons, and both could heal me, you know which one I'm picking?
True.
I don't know, if you're like the best animator in the world, maybe you can heal illnesses. Who knows? Magic exists.
Yeah.
Anyways, these last two episodes of She-Hulk were actually good again.
Yeah.
I liked them. I saw that you posted that you were very happy with the Daredevil one. I was actually the opposite. I liked the episode before the Daredevil one a little better.
All right. I forget what exactly I put on my Instagram, but I will quickly double check so I know what I said.
By the way, I got one comment on the video last time. Not really a comment. I have a couple commenters that delete their comments after they comment them, which makes it confusing. Yeah. But they pop up on my phone, so it might not be on the video, but it's there. I had one comment saying Neil is crazy. There is no Manitar and Minotaur in this series. I was talking about Manbull. He was in one of the trailers.
As soon as he popped up, I'm like, oh, that's what Neil was talking about.
There's Neil's Minotaur. I feel a little guilty just because I do know about the character of Manbill a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean he popped up in one thing I read, so I knew he existed.
Okay.
But, like, he's not a big character. Nobody cares. It's not the embarrassment of going like, oh, I had no idea who Daredevil was, but now I do. I don't have to turn in my nerd card, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. For She-Hulk Episode 7, The Retreat, and yeah. I don't have many notes on this episode, but yeah, both the ones we're talking about today were great.
I mean, I think I just liked this episode kind of like playing off the last episode, because the episode before this one, I didn't like the wedding episode. Titania finally got on my last nerve, and I was like done with a lot of the characters there. But with this one, where the whole story is like, you know, Jen, you really got to figure this shit out, and we're going to sit here and we're going to help you through it with this cast of insane characters. I don't know, I got into it, and I kind of viewed it as a very wholesome episode. It won me over fast with its charm.
I think it's really good that you had these two episodes back to back. I almost wish that we'd covered both of them in one video, because both of them are episodes where it is mostly Jen rather than She-Hulk on screen between the two of them, out at a wee secluded place in the country, surrounded by a cast of new characters, aside from Blonsky that we've never met before, and most of it's talking with little to no action. Except in the previous one, there was more action, and a lot of reasons that it was bad. In this one, there was She-Hulk transforms and picks up the Wrecker.
Yeah,
And that's it action-wise, but the characters, the writing, everything was just so much better.
this whole series has been kind of action light in a way I'm not super a fan of. I think I'll talk more about that when we talk about the Daredevil episode, because I think they fixed it a little bit there. But this episode, I was completely okay with it. Like, I don't know if it was just because they were so ridiculous and I loved seeing their costumes and hearing about their powers. I don't know if it's because, like, this might be the most relatable She-Hulk episode. Like, I've been ghosted. I feel like a lot of people have been ghosted. And it is not a great feeling. You feel shitty. You feel bad. You don't know what to say next. And a lot of times you do need an outside force to be like, hey, let's talk this through. Let's figure out what your emotions are about this. And I loved that Jin's support group includes a vampire, a minotaur, whatever the fuck a Legula is. I think he's a mutant. Well, he's a mutant in the comics, I believe. So he might just... The funniest thing in the world to me is he may have just woke up one day and had lightning powers and then just went about his life.
Yeah.
I love that they paired him up with Man-Bull and they have problems with codependency. God, it's a funny episode. Oh, and Porcupine.
Yeah.
Porcupine was the only character I, like, concretely recognized when I saw them. Like, I was like, okay, you're an Ant-Man villain, and I've seen you in, like, one cartoon. How did you feel about this episode, Jack? Did you like it? Let's go for your notes and stuff.
Yeah, I really liked it. The opening montage date sequence was really cute. That was really fun. It's like, okay, cool. Second note, God, I hope he's not evil. Because Jen was so happy. And it's like, oh,
yeah,
about time. You go.
Now, here's the thing. I thought he got captured or something. Like, I thought the intelligentsia captured him and were gonna, like, ransom him off in exchange for the blood. But I thought it was equally as possible that he was just evil. Which it appears to be that's what's going on. I don't know. I think there's going to be a very tearful reuniting between Josh and Jen in the season finale, maybe. But I guess we'll have to see.
Not sure about tearful, but we'll see with the finale. Yeah, we'll get to that. The rest of this episode is really fun, so let's cover that and then get to the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we get introduced to all these new characters. As you said, so Man-Bull, you were familiar with?
He popped up in a couple of the crossover events as just a big creature they needed to fight. Like, okay. Honestly, weirdly enough, kind of to tie into the newest Marvel thing that just came out, Moon Knight. Moon Knight, God, I'm sick. Fucking Werewolf by Night. Sorry, I remembered the word night and went, these are the same product. One of the creatures that are, like, one of the taxidermy creatures with their head hanging on the wall in Werewolf by Night, one of those is a character named Wendigo. I believe in the same comic I read that had Man-Bull in it, Wendigo was also there, and it was just a bunch of big, strong characters have to come out and fight, like, the younger Avengers characters, like Kate Bishop and shit. Once again, this was a crossover thing, and I want to mention again, I'm sick as hell, so if I'm misremembering that, I'm sorry, this is just off the top of my head. But I remember him getting his ass kicked thoroughly, and that was my only experience with the character at all. I knew nobody else, for the most part. I kind of knew Porcupine. Porcupine has popped up a little bit. I believe he worked with Egghead at one point. That is stuff I remember about that character. Besides that, these are C-listers, dude. These are the people you look in the background and say, oh, hey, you were in a comic once, and then move on with the rest of your fucking life. These are... None of these guys are going to get their own show. but now I kind of want all of them to get their own
Yeah.
show.
It reminds me a lot of the Lego Batman movie, where it's just like, here's all these bizarre one-off Batman villains that you've probably never heard of, and if you have, then it's awesome.
See, with Mr. Immortal, it kind of annoyed me a little because I was like, well, what's your origin story? And I wanted to see more from the character and then to dive deeper into that. Although with this, I kind of forgive it a little because each character gets like a little tinge of backstory to them. Like each one, like even the vampire guy is like, don't talk about my dad. And I gotta assume that's important. Man Bull got experimented on by a scientist, and that's all we know.
Weird lab experiments, don't ask.
Honestly, that's all I need. I just need a character
Yeah.
to be like, yes, this is how I got my powers. This is a little tinge that I'm a living, breathing character in the universe. I have my own backstory and shit. Now just move on and enjoy the rest of your plot.
Yeah.
And I was very satisfied with that. But the big guy who brought it all together, the one who made this team work for me, was definitely Abomination.
Yeah.
Did you see the background posters?
Obama stay, yes.
There's one that essentially said, if you're feeling good, that's good. Obama Stay was definitely my favorite, though.
That makes sense. If you're feeling good, you don't need to feel guilty about that. Yeah, works.
I know, but some of those quotes on the wall just made me wince a little, where it's like, you're really not saying anything here. just one or two of them. They're definitely making fun of, like, the hippie culture a little. But at the same time, Abomination wins this episode. He gets, like, Jin to feel better, so it frickin' works. He was right.
Yeah.
She needed to communicate. Honestly, I kind of like that they double down a little, because in the last episode, they established that she's struggling and she's trying to figure out, like, this in-between between Jin and She-Hulk. She thinks she can figure it out through Josh, but then she can't, and this is basically a therapy session for her, which is very interesting to see in media. She-Hulk's immediately becoming a very relatable character for me.
Yeah. Like, I think, and again, just with the whole, like, group therapy and everything for them, these characters, that whole, not even scene, because it is a significant chunk of the episode, was great. I really hope that going forward, for some other Earthbound MCU film, the post-credit scene is just that hero unpacking everything that happens to this group.
So here's the thing. Here's my theory, and I wasn't going to talk about this till later, but here's my theory. I think that shit's going to happen in Thunderbolts. I think in Thunderbolts, they're going to decide that they need Abomination's help for something, so they're going to go to his retreat, but it's going to be like in a moment of failure, and they're all going to end up in those chairs and have therapy with Abomination.
I really like that idea. That is on point, yeah.
I'm just saying, imagine like Red Guardian and Zemo talking about how they feel.
Yeah, but with Yelena also in the group and just calling Red Guardian on his bullshit.
I hate Captain
There's
America
a lot of
because
dynamics in that. Bucky just being fed up with everyone. I love that image, yeah.
Why do you hate Captain America? I hate him because of this. Why do you hate Captain America? Oh, I was always in his shadow. I'm considered the less good Captain America. Bucky, why do you hate Captain America? I don't,
Because
but
Bucky,
I tried to kill him once.
but Bucky was with Steve during World War II. Before he went in the ice. He'd know.
Yeah. I know. It's still funny, man. There's so many possibilities here.
Oh, yeah, I really hope they do that scene. That would be fantastic.
Even if it's not the Thunderbolts, just, you have Abomination's, like, little therapy council. Don't leave that there. Bring it back. Have the Avengers go there.
Because it is, a retreat, you can then have other C-list fucking villains and stuff be in the group. Some recurring ones, some new ones. Just keep cycling them out and have... We need to return to Abomination's retreat once per phase, I think, at least.
I would like that. I mean, maybe not once per project, but if you have a superhero going through some turmoil and you need a funny intro for the next episode, it would be really funny if you just had them give a monologue in a chair and then
Yeah.
slowly zoom out to Abomination holding a clipboard and just listening and going, yeah, okay. Oh, it would be a nice...
Tony is the sort of character who would go to this, but the end of Iron Man 3, where it's revealed that he's been just in therapy talking to Bruce, you know?
That's how we bring it all back together. Hulk was wrongly used as a therapist, so now his main antagonist is coming out to do it right.
Yeah.
By the way,
he's better than the Hulk or something, you know?
Do you think Hulk is going to be in the next episode?
So I'd say at least in like a post-credit stinger or tag or something. But we haven't had a post-credit scene since episode 3?
Yeah, I was kind of blown away. The
Episode 4.
The one before the finale didn't get one. That kind of shocked me a little.
Yeah.
Honestly...
I mean, the sheer amount that happened in that episode, I'm fine with it on that one. As an example, like, if that was the only one in the season without one, fine. But
writers of the show, why'd you stop doing them? They were funny. I thought we were going to get one per episode. It kind of makes some of them a little weird now. Like, I don't know, the twerking one's a little less fun now. That they're not doing it every episode. But what are you going to do? The show is as it is. And we are here to mock it and also celebrate it. Which we will do with the continuation of your notes, Jack.
Yeah. All the interactions and everything throughout with the group, the only, like, quote I've got from their conversation was, or he wanted your blood. And it's like, well, you did. Yeah, you were right, just not for the reason you thought.
You gotta chill on the blood thing, dude.
Yeah, just that it was cute. I want to come back here. And then we got the 3 days earlier, and we revealed Jen asleep, and he's awake, and it's like, okay, he's leaving, he's sneaking out in the middle of the night, but then he turns to, like, take a picture of Jen sleeping, and it's like, oh,
yeah.
Fuck, he's a creep.
Here's the thing, I didn't realize how much of a creep he was, because I didn't think they were going to do what they did in the last episode. We'll talk about that when we get there. Yeah.
We will get there.
I do want to bring up, I do have a couple notes. Not a lot. I have a couple notes. When you're sick, it's good to have them. I did want to bring up that my favorite fourth wall joke has been usurped. It used to be, tying the A plot to the B plot, classic. Now it is, do you remember that guy? You probably don't remember that guy. Okay, let's do another recap right now, but just that guy. The fuck, man?
Did we previously on him? Okay, previously on this guy. Yeah.
That got me.
Yeah. I think there's... A lot of it comes down to Tatiana Maslany just being great and giving a great performance for a lot of this show. Like, the turn to camera. Oh, yeah, my clothes. I love that moment. But in terms of, like, actual fourth wall breaks, there's a solid 3 great ones, I think. And that possibly tops it.
The thing that blew my mind with it is I legitimately forgot who he was. So when he popped up, I was like, who the hell is this guy? I legit don't know. And then when it actually did a recap to tell me, I was like, well, fuck, I actually needed this recap. So it's funny and useful.
Yeah. I didn't recognize him, and I think it is, again, the difference of him. He had his hair tied back in this episode and down during the previous one. But again, I watched these with subtitles, and the subtitles, like, he walks in saying something, and it's like, Wrecker! Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, okay, cool. It's this guy.
My only real problem is I think it implies that Jin as a character is kind of unintelligent. And the reason I mean by that is I get he's not a bad guy anymore. I understand it. Jin, you gotta question him a little more. You gotta find out who he was working for, you know? Like, why
Yeah.
did he want the blood? Also, I'm a little sad it seems like the Wrecking Crew is just going to be a joke, but they weren't much more than that anyways, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, probably not going to be recurring in the same way they are in a lot of the animated shows and everything.
I'm just
But
saying
for their one appearance, they're just a group of thugs who apparently robbed an Asgardian construction worker. I think it was fine. It was serviceable.
we're going to be doing multiverse stuff soon. Maybe they'll
Yeah.
pop up again in a different reality where they're jacked and competent, and that will be a joke. But
I remember.
who's to say?
I think it might be Nando V Movies or some YouTube creator did a wee series where they talked about like rewriting the Defenders show, and they pitched it that it would be the Wrecking Crew that they're against, because they broke down each of their power sets and everything. So okay, this would be a good match for Luke Cage, you'd be a good match for Iron Fist, you'd be a good match. Well, okay, that makes sense. They basically like pitched a whole season of TV that was that. And that was really cool. So I'm disappointed we're not going to get that.
It's definitely a little disappointing.
It was fine. It was fun.
I think the reason I like them is because they were that recurring threat that kept popping up. Like, I guess I kind of have a soft spot for characters we just see a lot that are trying their best and then kind of fail.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I like it when you recognize characters instead of just introducing new ones. Like, for example, you'd have to do something with the writing, maybe establish the Wrecking Crew as, like, goons for hire. But in that scene with Daredevil in the episode after this, in the trailer, I thought those, like, thugs in the hallway that are just spinning their weapons and stuff, I thought that was the Wrecking Crew. So theoretically, you could have just put them in there and said that Leapfrog hired them.
Yeah.
There was a path where these guys could have been a little more.
Yeah, perhaps Wrecker, after going to Blonsky's retreat, is sort of stepped back and given up, so the rest of the guys have looked for a new boss. Yeah.
That would make sense to me, and plus, that would make Jin just taking them down like they're nothing again even funnier. Especially if it's like, Leapfrog spent his money, we got even better items this time. She just falls on him.
Yeah. And then, you can have them be, as you said, like funny and recurring. The premiere of a season 2 could be Jen fighting them again and just casting them aside,
Oh, yeah. I think it would be really funny to see them in, like, a street level thing. Like, another character I really thought Marvel was going to do Goofy, because in the comics they sometimes do him Goofy. But they didn't. They did him totally seriously. Was Batrock the Leaper. He showed up a couple times. He was recurring to a point, and then they just killed him. I think Marvel doesn't really know what to do with these lower stake henchmen characters. Like, they're just starting to learn the lesson of don't kill the main villain. They haven't figured it out with the lower guys. Like, where the fuck has Shocker been since the first Spider-Man movie,
I assume in the same prison as Adrian Toomes and Scorpion, except Adrian Toomes isn't there anymore because
Scorpion might not be either, dude.
Morbius did.
Here's the thing. The writers of Morbius said, oh yeah, Adrian Toomes appeared. Wonder who else would have just magically appeared. So I think Scorpion went with him. Scorpion? Hell, Shocker might have gone too.
Even in the multiverse, Morbius didn't happen.
Well, in the grand multiverse, theoretically, that version of Michael Keaton could be a different one. And we're just going to believe that until Marvel breaks our hearts with the truth.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Inhumans it doesn't count,
Yeah, I mean, Inhumans isn't canon, or is it? I don't know. Honestly, if I were to break down everything that is and is not canon about the MCU timeline, I think my hair would become gray and I would instantly shrivel up and die. So let's not do that.
Yeah. Let's steer clear. But yeah, that's the end of my notes on this episode. Was fuck, he's a creep. So yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, Josh is a creep. And surely taking a picture of her while she was sleeping is the creepiest thing Josh will have done in the entire series. So,
Oh, I
anyways,
wish.
this Daredevil episode, we got to give our
Yeah.
rankings first. um,
Uh,
I'm actually going pretty damn high with this one. And by the way, I'm not giving it a 10. I know I've made that joke now. I have one theory of how the finale might be a 10. But for me, I thought this was an 8. It was probably my favorite episode. It was very feel good. I liked I liked all the characters. I liked how fun they were, and I like more than anything that now Abomination's therapy council is in the MCU, and we can revisit that if we ever wish to.
yeah. I think for me, I'll give this one a 7. I think. Again, good fun. Really enjoyed the entire therapy scene and everything. And prior to that, again, the wee opening date montage and everything at the beginning was really cute. The reveal at the end got an emotional reaction out of me. That's what it was meant to do, so they succeeded.
I do have to ask, did you have a favorite of the new superheroes introduced in this?
In this episode or in the
Yeah,
show?
in this episode.
In this episode,
If we're talking about the show, Madison remains my new favorite character.
because you said superheroes, I was picturing more people with powers, but Madison's probably
She
up
made a
there.
deal with a demon. We don't know.
Yeah.
I think
Either El Aguila or Porcupine. I'm between them.
I think Alegula is probably my favorite. I knew of him a little too because he's kind of a hero, air quotes. He's kind of an idiot. I don't know if he was written self-awarely in the comics, but from what I know of Alegula, he's kind of just a dumbass who has lightning powers and a sword and no real consistency in his writing. Like, he doesn't even have one set character per different issues. That being said, when he said, "Let's go kill Josh," and then lightning shot out of his fucking sword, I had this moment of, oh, yeah, you're that guy. And I do kind of like him. I love how he was like, I did do a little bit of... What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
Matador.
I was about to say minotauring. I did a little bit of matadoring in college. And I just love him and Manbull's bromance, man. Like, I know the rest of the group was like, you guys are very codependent, but I think there's something there.
Yeah.
Love, maybe.
So I just remembered this as you were describing your love for El Aguila there. When he initially showed up, like, fighting and wielding the sword and everything, my brain immediately went to the swordsman from Hawkeye.
So here's the thing. My brain did the same damn shit. And I was like, oh, are they going to make Jack this character too? Okay, that's cool. Jack might just be an combination of all the shitty characters. But no, it's just a different guy with a sword.
Yeah. Just a different guy. I hope they meet at some point. That'd be really fun.
So,
but if they don't...
So your sword can shoot lightning? Yes, what does your sword do? It's a sword.
It is a sword, but you should know I am an Avenger.
I'm friends with Hawkeye, can't you tell? Okay, moving on to the Daredevil episode.
Ribbit and rip it.
So, here's the thing. I got one problem with this episode. Only one. Only one big problem. They killed my boy. Here's the thing. Let me tell you a story about a little character who started off as a villain to Daredevil, but one day would become Marvel's greatest creation. I am, of course, talking about Frogman. So here's the thing. Frogman, in the comics, he starts off as like a supervillain, but it's actually the dude's dad. They even mentioned he's like, they mentioned his dad in this episode at one point because he's got rich boy money. Friggin' the original Frogman was like a bad dude doing crimes, and then his son decided, hey, you know what? I don't like that my dad was like this. I am going to become a good superhero. I will be the Frogman. How am I going to do that? I'm going to stalk Spider-Man and get him to teach me.
Hmm.
And that's kind of what I thought was going to happen. Whoa, my dog just jumped over my keyboard. That was awesome. I thought that's what was going to happen, but with Daredevil and She-Hulk, like, they were going to, like, take this new Frogman and help him become the eventual character. Frogman is really a fan favorite because his powers are stupid, but yet he had the persistence to actually kind of become a hero. Like, he just kept trying, mostly badly. He would bumble his way into becoming a superhero, but that's kind of what I love about him. Like Bulk and Skull in Power Rangers, for example. They're idiots through and through, and each episode they're bumbling, but then you get to in space, and they actually stand up and they try to fight against the main enemy, and they help, and they succeed, and it's a big moment. I want that to happen with Frogman. I want, after this episode, Frogman to, like, look in the mirror and be like, what have I become? Leapfrog is awful. I will change my name to Frogman, and I will go out there and be a real superhero. How will I do that? I'm gonna stalk Spider-Man. And then we'll just start from there. Put Frogman in the next Spider-Man movie. Yeah, that's my only problem. Frogman was kind of shitty in this. He's just kind of a brat and also kidnapped someone.
Yeah. So I had no connection with any comic book or previous iterations of Frogman, so I thought he was funny. I enjoyed him in this episode.
I think this...
Which I am noticing with the Mr. Immortal thing as well. It's like, maybe you're just disappointed that it's not the same character they are in the comics. They're sort of in name only.
I care about that less with Mr. Immortal just because I do not give a shit about him in the comics. So if they did change him in a way I liked, I probably would have been okay with it. I just didn't like the asshole guy. I think that's my problem. A lot of the characters that, like, I think the joke is supposed to be, well, Jen's a lawyer, so of course all her clients are assholes. But, like, literally all of her clients have been assholes, except for Wong. I mean, Blonsky was an asshole. He's just less of an asshole. Okay, I'll give you Blonsky. That counts.
Thank you.
I don't know. It's just a lot of the new characters, I guess, have been assholes. And I kind of am not really liking them that much. Like, there are some characters who are assholes that I can get into. Like, I could watch Tony Stark all day. But he's an asshole with a heart of gold. Like, there's something redeeming about it. With Mr. Immortal, I just didn't like him because he was like, you know, if I'm to view the fiction as is, he's just being mean to these poor ladies. And with Frogman, I guess I'm only upset that, like, this character got to a point where I really liked him in the comics. Okay. And now it kind of feels like they're shitting on that. Just a bit.
I get that.
And I can take a joke. Hawkeye has been the butt of how many? And I love all of them. I don't know. I just wish he was a little funnier. Or maybe it would have been his dad this episode that kidnapped Luke. That's what I would have preferred. That being said, this did not ruin the episode for me. I loved it.
No. And hopefully they are setting him up for some sort of redemption comeback thing now that he's been so greatly humbled. Perhaps, forget Hulk in space. The post-credit scene of the show might be Leapfrog and Blonsky's therapy session, you know?
I'm just imagining Kang is about to destroy the universe. She-Hulk looks at Leapfrog as he holds this earth-shattering device. He's about to drop into a portal that will take him into space. He looks at She-Hulk and goes, "Rip it and rip it, motherfuckers," and then just jumps in. He blows up. Frogman is the new Tony Stark who sacrificed himself to take out the bad guy.
Everyone just stops and looks at each other. Why didn't he just throw the bomb? Why did he jump too?
That is the moment where we realize that Frogman's sacrifice, while heroic, was unnecessary, and that is the perfect way for him to die. That's what I love about this character. He's a doofus, but he's also a superhero. It's hilarious.
The fact that is in character for him in the comics, by my read of your reaction, okay.
Oh, that is super. That is super in character for Frogman. Like, Frogman is the kind of guy who will go in, botch a job, and be like, "All right, we did it! Yay!"
Gotcha.
You can see why I'm a little frustrated.
Sure.
But I am very excited to see what your notes say about this, because I gotta be real, there's some other episodes I had a problem with this show. I think if the other episodes were like this episode, the whole show might have improved a little bit.
Yeah. Or, take out the wedding episode altogether and the average score of the show goes up.
Yeah. I hated that episode. But, even episodes that weren't necessarily bad, like, I'm trying to think of a specific example. I really like the fourth episode, actually. The third episode. God, they're so hard to remember the numbers of. The third one's the first one with Wong, right?
The People versus Emil Blonsky, yeah.
Okay, so episode 4 is like the main Wong episode. I really like that one.
Yep. Not Real Magic, episode 4. Mean Green and Straightforward into These Genes, episode 5.
Yeah, I think specifically the episode where they're dealing with an elf the whole time.
Yeah, that was the B plot of the
third
episode 3.
Okay, I think that one would have been better if we had moments like this in the courtroom between Matt and Jin. Like, I just like that they actually had an argument about law. Yep. And it went in an interesting direction. Like, she was like, "Well, we need this. It's essential for the case." And he's like, "Well, do you want to out all these superheroes? Because that's what you're about to do." That was an interesting discussion. And like the cop... Okay. Go ahead, my man.
No, I said this in a previous video. This is the stuff I wanted from this show for the legal side of things. We have the Book of American Laws, as was put before, but superheroes are a thing. How does this apply? How do they mix? What new laws have to be made? What things have to change? That's what I was hoping for. Again, the example I said was like, "Oh, can Spider-Man testify in court?" Stuff like that. That's really interesting. Great world building, has implications for the rest of the MCU while being relatively self-contained. And I think in the entire show we've had two instances, maybe, if I think back on it, but the biggest one being, as Matt says here, need I remind you, the Sokovia Accords have been repealed.
I think when they talked about whether or not you can copyright actual magic, that was kind of interesting to me too, because I was like, yeah, no, what is the copyrightability of superpowers? Like,
that was the example that was in my mind.
Like, if you have these abilities, can you trademark that? If someone gets them in a, like, radioactive accident, are they infringing on your trademark? What's going on with that? I would love to learn more about that. And both of these episodes kind of gave us a taste of that. I wish the whole show was like that. And hopefully, if there is a season 2, they can kind of learn where their strengths were.
Can we get a situation with superpowers that's, the opening of Under Pressure versus the opening of Ice Ice Baby? They're so obviously the same, but one of them's defending, no, it's different.
Dude, you have no idea how many characters Marvel has that are basically the same character.
Yeah.
I would love that if, like, God, if like Quicksilver and the Wizard ended up suing each other or something.
Oh. Well, I dare say the Wizard has a monopoly on that at the moment.
Well, to be fair, you can't really defend that Quicksilver's dead. uh,
Ralph Boner can go to court in his stead, you know?
did you hear about Ralph? Ralph
Huh?
might be confirmed. Evan Peters as Ralph Boner is coming back in a future project, and the rumor is it's going to be the Wonder Man show, and Wonder Man is
Oh.
going to be an actor.
Oh, okay, that'll be fun. I was picturing Coven of Chaos, but that works. Okay.
I think that would be funny too, because like it'd just be really funny to see him actually be revealed to be some sort of Quicksilver. But if you're going with he's actually just a random actor, yeah, get him and Trevor Slattery to team up with Wonder Man. That'd be great.
Oh, throw in Kingo as well if he's back on Earth at
Oh
the
yeah,
time.
the actors and the Avengers. They could be two different teams. The Act-Vengers. That's terrible, but I want it.
Oh, right. Notes for this episode. Previously on my show.
That made me giggle.
I like that as how you preface it for the Daredevil episode. It's like, friendly reminder, no, this is my show, my show.
I wonder if there's going to be a funny tag for the next one.
I hope so.
My key, what I would really like is if she interrupts the recap to be like, we're not showing the leaked sex tape again. We're not doing it. Or if like as they're about to show it, she like smashes the recap. That'd be funny.
Yeah, that'd be great. We get Leapfrog's introduction, the guard frog joke. Funny, fun pun. I like that.
Yeah, his intro was kind of perfect, which is why it kind of sucked that they made him bad, because he gets in, he tries to attack them, he fails like 5 times, then he just tries to get the fuck out, and even that fucked up. See,
so would you have preferred? So basically, you liked that beginning with the character. Had you, after the court case, had we not seen him again, or had that not gone down the same way?
My only problem with Leapfrog, my only issue, is that they made him kind of a brat and a villain. Like they made him kidnap somebody. Which, by the way, they call him Leapfrog. I think I should be clear about that. His dad was named Leapfrog. His dad was the villain. So when he became Frogman, he like completely threw that name away. So I have a feeling this might be something for him. Like maybe he regrets what he did today. Like maybe he regrets what he did with She-Hulk and kidnapping Luke. So maybe his story going forward is, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to come back from this and I'm going to watch other heroes and pop up in their shows and bug them and try to learn what it is to be a hero. I mean this in the nicest way, but you know what? I'm gonna phrase this as a compliment. Frogman is if Jar Jar was done right. Like imagine if every time Jar Jar went into a situation and he screwed it up, he somehow simultaneously made the situation better with his presence, and that was hilarious. I think what George Lucas was going for, specifically with the Clone Wars episodes that Jar Jar is in, I think, which weren't by George Lucas, but I'm sick, forgive me. I think if you have this doofus character who just comes into a random superhero show, and yet by the end that random superhero respects Frogman, that's how you do this character right. Don't have him get arrested at the end. I want justice for Frogman. And who knows, there's one episode left, and I have one theory of how he could pop up. I don't think he's going to steal the show or anything, but he could pop up again. But continue with your notes, my good sir.
The Leapfrog is filing a suit against Luke. We get more fun interactions with Luke. Glad we saw him again. He wasn't just in that one episode. We brought him back. Matt Murdock walks in. Sorry, I couldn't find a face to park. Yeah. And then, as we said, the courtroom, the actual interaction and the lawyers' debate between the two of them. Great back and forth.
Oh yeah, that back and forth is like, that is the crossover wet dream, my friend. Where here's the thing. When Avengers first came out, I remember people were saying I could watch a whole movie of just these characters talking together. I'll do you one better. I would love to see a movie where just the lawyers of the MCU come and talk about law. I would love to see like a Science Bros thing with Hulk and Tony at some point. I love seeing these characters in their elements and like sharing that side of each other with other characters. I think that's why I loved Cade and Hawkeye so much. They just really got each other and had like interesting dynamics and ways to push the other character. Here with
like we did.
Yep.
Another example, I wish we got more of it in the movie, but sort of Hank and Scott and Bill Foster, Goliath, just in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Just that we group as they're all talking about, two of them have the science angle, and then
Are
the other
you
side of the
boys
triangle.
done comparing sizes yet?
Yeah. Then they just start talking.
I hope Bill
talking
comes
about
back.
the sciencey stuff and the quantum stuff, and then Scott and Bill relate to the growing and shrinking experiments and everything. Just the fun wee interactions of, again, as you said, the characters in their elements, and we can pick through the rest of the MCU for other examples.
Oh yeah, like I think Hawkeye and Kate is the one I immediately went to, not just because I'm a giant Hawkeye fan, but also because like that is a situation of Kate is a master archer because she literally crafted her entire life over this like heroization of Clint. Like she was like, oh, well, I like this guy. I like seeing what he did. And I want to become like him. Meanwhile, Hawkeye hates everything he did in that show. Like he hates the majority of his career. Like obviously he loved that it gave him Natasha and the Avengers, but he definitely seems more like a I'm not proud of what I did when Kate is literally admiring everything he's done. And that's such an interesting dichotomy to compare these two characters who love the same things and care about the same things, but they're on these different sides of it now. It's very neat, and that's exactly what happened with Matt and Jen this episode, which is why they had so much damn chemistry.
Like, I would have been 80% satisfied if after the courtroom scene, the rest of the episode was just the two of them talking in the bar.
Honestly, I
would have been disappointed we didn't get to see the Daredevil suit.
Here's
which
the
is that
thing.
remaining 20%. But other than that, I would have been happy.
I would love it if, like, Marvel started doing a thing where there's, like, an extended cut of movies. Kind of like what they did with Spider-Man. But legitimately, it just adds more scenes of these characters talking. I'd dig that, and I'd pay more money for that.
Yeah.
Like, I love the action, but, like, She-Hulk is a good example that you can do things that are less actiony and still have them be interesting. Except for weddings. Don't do them. No one in the MCU should ever get married again. Putting my foot down.
Thinking other MCU type Multiverse of Madness starts with Strange going to a wedding.
Nope. That was its first mistake. That's why everybody hates that movie, even though it's pretty good.
That is the reason, yes.
Yeah, it had a wedding in it. Thor Ragnarok, Thor Love and Thunder did not have a wedding in it, to my knowledge, and that's why everybody hated it. You either need a wedding or you either don't. That's the contradiction of weddings. I'm very sick.
I was going to say, we're going down a bit of a rabbit hole here. I've never had an appletini. That's in my notes.
Yeah, I was looking at that drink too, man. I was looking at that and I was like, that looks good.
Yeah.
I kind of want to try it. It's a green drink. A very funny joke for a blind man to make.
Yeah. And on that, it's like, oh, bold of you to insult a blind man's outfit or what.
I'm wearing pants, aren't I?
the back and forth, the banter, the jokes, just the note. A cute back and forth. I've written that like twice on the same page from when they were in court and now here.
I kind of hope they get together. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of liked it. I mean, Daredevil has some relationship baggage to the point where some of that may come back to haunt him. Elektra, but
How far through Daredevil on Netflix are you?
still haven't finished season 2, but
Okay.
I have watched Defenders, so I kind of know what ends up happening with Elektra. But I've read enough comics to know Elektra always comes back. Let's just say that.
Yeah. I will remain vague on a lot of Daredevil stuff then in this, just because of season 3.
I'm very excited for season 3 because I've heard it's
season
really
3 is fantastic. It's the best season in my opinion.
I took a little break towards the end of season 2, but I really got to get back in there.
Justifiably so.
Oh yeah, there was this one scene that I think it's the moment I realized, oh no, the Elektra plot is becoming the A plot. That's when I kind of took my break.
Yeah. And then it's the entire plot for Defenders.
Yeah. I honestly kind of like that I watched Defenders long before I ever watched Daredevil Season 2. Because I would have been burned out by Defenders Episode 3, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
The Hand just were not that interesting in the show. They were a little bit, but not enough. Season 1, they were more interesting.
Season 1, they were good. They were good and they were interesting because they were mysterious and you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Then Iron Fist happened and they developed them more, and Daredevil Season 2 happened and they developed it more, and then by the time Defenders came around, it's like, okay, cool. This should be the culmination of everything we've built. But what you've built wasn't interesting and no one cares.
Slight spoilers for Defenders. I just want to ask you this question. I will put my hand down when the spoilers are gone. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Are those fucking dinosaur bones or whatever the fuck, the dragon bones, still canon? Is that a thing?
I mean, how canon are the Netflix shows?
I don't know, man!
Yeah. That's my answer.
My hand is down. There
Okay.
were no answers, chat. There never will be answers.
They're not brought up explicitly in season 3.
I don't think they're ever going to reference those things of which we were referencing.
Todd is evil. The minute when Jen got the text from him, I'm like, okay, we're properly bringing him back again. Okay, he's got to be an antagonist at this point. He's questionably so, but in that moment, I'm like, okay, definitely he's evil.
Look, I know I was the guy who was like, hey, I think Todd's evil. I'm going to have to be that guy again. I don't think he's evil. I think Todd's a red herring.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just in that moment, that's my note. Todd is evil.
Well, here's the thing. Here's why I think Todd will still be an important character. I'm going to pitch to you what the after credit scene of the show should be. I think there should be more than one. I think there should be one referencing World War Hulk, the next big project. But this is She-Hulk. It's the big comedy. We gotta end on a joke, but we also gotta tease the next MCU project. How do we do that? The last scene of She-Hulk is just Todd taking pictures with his Wakandan spear, and then the Adora Milaje just beat the fuck out of him. And that's the end. They beat him up, take the spear. That's the last shot of the show.
I almost hope it's really quick, like one of the Blackbirds or whatever it is, the name of the Wakandan ships, just like flies overhead while he's in his back garden taking pictures. 2 of them drop down on wires, punch him, grab the spear, and go back up.
You see, when you were describing that, I thought of something that I think would be slightly funnier. They just blow up his house with missiles and then fly away. It cuts to Okoye, and one of the other Adora Milaje is like, we didn't get the spear back. And Okoye said, no, but we served a much bigger function this day. We took him out. We got Todd. Just
crosses him off a list.
That'd That'd be kind of a little goofy for Okoye, but I'd laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, we see other Marvel characters on the list, like Jimmy Woo, and we're just like, what did they do? What did they do to Okoye?
Todd, no. Just no was my next note. Fucking calling her babe and everything. The yelling Wakanda forever. I don't think he went to college there. I somehow doubt that.
I mean, here's the thing. Thor somehow took an elective to learn how to speak Groot. So we don't know. We honestly don't know if he's telling the truth.
I assume that to have been on Asgard rather than in Wakanda.
Yeah, but who teaches you how to speak a tree? Like, who does that?
Another Flora Colossus, I assume, or someone who has studied the language for centuries, and maybe there's a Rosetta Stone that's just, hello, I am Groot. How are you today, I am Groot?
You know who? You know what it is? I probably answered my own question. Yggdrasil, the Tree of Life. You
That would make sense.
Probably learned it from that.
Yeah.
Of course, Yggdrasil in the MCU is going to be a goofy tree with a face on it that's like, hi guys, let's learn about languages. And if you don't think Marvel would do that, isn't there a damn dumpling with a face in Thor Love and Thunder?
Yeah.
I love Thor Love and Thunder, but we've gone there now. We can go there again. Put weird faces on living things. I don't care.
I've flipped my page, and the first note is, Todd might not be evil, just an imbecile.
Oh, okay, so I'm not the only one who thinks he might not be the main big bad.
Oh yeah, no, I don't expect that.
Now here's the thing, he could theoretically get turned into a Hulk and be like the big bad of this show. Because here's the thing, here's what I'm thinking of. She-Hulk has to fight a big creature at the end, right? Like, from the trailers I've seen, I don't think there's a single frame of the finale in there. I don't know who She-Hulk fights at the end. She doesn't really have anybody in the show right now that can match her. So do you want to hear my theory of what the next episode might be? Or do we want to continue with this one first and end on theories?
I'll hear your theory. Yeah, go.
Okay. So here's the thing. People have noticed with the trailers, and my friend actually noticed this, and this is when I started looking into it. There are a couple key scenes that are missing. Number one, the woman who played Titania, she also played Tahani in The Good Place. I can't remember her name for the life of me. But she posted a picture of her and Charlie Cox together. And yet those two characters have not been in an episode together yet. This also happened with another actor who did not have scenes with Charlie Cox Daredevil. So here is my off-the-wall, crazy theory of what the hell the next episode could be. I think we might have a Mandalorian Season 1 situation where all of these new characters that were introduced are gonna come back and save Jin in the finale. I think after she got arrested by those cops, the bad guys, whoever they are, the intelligentsia, are going to break her out, kidnap her for experiments to turn somebody into a Hulk. During this time, Matt Murdock will have actually not left town because he's going to stay and try to be her lawyer, but then he's going to find out, oh shit, she's been kidnapped. I guess I got to go find her. And then he's going to go to Abomination, and then he's going to go to Man-Bull, and he's going to go to every character in the show and be like, well, I guess we're all combined together by this one person. Let's go find Jin. And then all of these superpowered people that we thought were jokes are going to use their powers and defeat some sort of Hulk villain. Now, I can't tell you which one, because the show hasn't really set up which one. But it does alarm me a little. We don't really know where the next episode is going. We've spent all this time setting up that Jin has these connections with these other characters. I don't think they're one-offs anymore. I think they're all going to come back. Especially because we know there's at least one more scene with Abomination. Because in the scene in the trailer, he's like wearing his therapy clothes, but he is Abomination. So we know Abomination comes back at the very least. Even though it seems like the next episode is going to be taking down the Intelligentsia. So I ask you, are they all going to team up and try to help Jin? What do you think? Am I crazy? Or is it just because I'm sick?
I think there's a bit of crazy in there.
I'm just saying, what if one of the last shots of the episode is the main villain, who is Todd, all hulked out, is about to kill She-Hulk. And then you hear someone yell, "Ribbit and rip it." And Frogman just flies into his face and blinds him enough for someone to beat him up.
Flies in, both his legs still in a cast, because that was yesterday.
God, I would love that.
I could definitely see the side characters and everyone returning, yeah. I think Todd becoming some sort of Hulk villain. I'm a bit shaky on that, especially people who've been floating that he'll be the Red Hulk. I'm like, no.
I don't think he'll be Red Hulk. Well,
I think what you do... So, this is my immediate thought right at the start of this when you said, oh, we need a big character for She-Hulk to fight. Is I remember saying this back with the Titania episode. Yay, this lawyer character, better villain in a legal case, rather than physically. Great, like that idea. What I was hoping for the show is that it would be more of the legal room court stuff.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how you can. I don't know how you can spin that at this point, given where we left off for the next episode. But I would, again, like if this show had us beat the villain, but not in a brawl. I think my ideal for next episode is that it's similar to the Loki finale, in that there is a bit of an action scene with the Loki versus Sylvie in the Citadel at the end of time. He remains chamber, but that you have we've come this far. Both shows go into the finale in very different places, story and character wise, but that you have the reveal of Samuel Stearns, the leader here, for him, like Kang, you had him revealed to then be the villain in future movies. You have him revealed here to then be the villain for Captain America, New World Order. I think that's what you do in terms of a big villain. And he's a part of this, whether he is this Hulk King character or not. I feel like that makes sense. But I'm not offering a solution for how we deal with this situation, just bullet points of how I'd like it to go down.
I want what you described to happen. Like, I would really love it if somehow this does end with Jin is in the courtroom and she has to outsmart the main villains to get them taken down. Like, I would love a situation where it's like, no, she had to use Jin and She-Hulk, though. So I think there's a chance that you and I are both going to get a piece of what we want. I think using her lawyer skills after the big action scene, there might be a point where she has to put somebody away. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't imagine one of these Marvel shows not ending with a big action scene in the last episode. And
Loki.
Well, that was still pretty big.
Most of the episode was them sat down talking to He Who Remains, and then 3 minutes of Loki and Sylvie blocking blows.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I will argue the massive action piece was the episode before that.
You're definitely right. But they still had a action scene, you know?
Yeah.
I can't imagine them cutting it out.
The next episode is going to resolve in that way in a courtroom or anything. Just that I wish that was the direction the show had gone overall.
I agree with you there. I think they probably are. The big lesson of the show so far has been Jin and She-Hulk are the same person, and the acceptance of that. So I think if we're going for narrative cohesion, it makes sense that she's going to have to do half of the job as Jin and half of the job as She-Hulk. That being said, I have no idea where we're going. Like, it's completely possible. I believe those were damage control agents, right? That took her in?
That was my assumption, yeah.
That was my assumption as well, but I guess theoretically that could have been the intelligentsia. I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to start with her in jail, but that's not the villain's main priority. They got her blood. So I have to imagine someone's turning into a Hulk next episode. Will it be Todd and he'll just be a one-off bad guy for one episode? We'll see. I don't know. I would love it to be Leader, but the whole thing with Leader is he don't do the fighting. He gets other people to do that. So, I don't know. Maybe they'll just mind control Abomination and Titania and have them do it. I truly have no idea where this finale is going. Mostly because they haven't given us a ton of pieces to see where that goes. But I gotta say, with this episode and the show as a whole, I think overall I liked it. This episode is a highlight for one reason and one reason alone. Daredevil got to fight in a hallway.
Yeah.
This is officially...
I'm going to speed run through my notes so we can get to that.
Oh, of course.
We got to see Jen and She-Hulk's hero costume on both of them. Looks great in both. It's a practical suit when Tatiana's wearing it. Looks great. I love the design.
The model looks a little better in that suit to me. I don't know why, but when she's specifically dressed as She-Hulk and not wearing normal clothes, the model looks better.
I get it. I agree. Daredevil, nice, awesome, fantastic. I love the fucking leapfrogs driving a bright green car as well. And then my famous secret lair, just the massive neon sign. Great.
They have all the pieces to make this character great. They just got to get the character right.
I took note of this because I'm 90% sure this is the first. Is Charlie Cox Daredevil versus a CGI character. I'm pretty sure throughout the entire Netflix series and everything, it's just been, live action. It's other actors, it's stunt performers, it's everything.
Yeah.
And then here we get, some shots as a CGI Daredevil, but the whole time, he's fighting She-Hulk.
Well, he's got to do...
first, I'm pretty sure.
He's got to do mad flips in some of those scenes. So, it makes sense they had to do CGI. And
of course.
They did give Daredevil a bit of, martial arts later when he's fighting the dudes. What are they called?
Later in the episode. Yeah. It was great. I'm not complaining. I really liked it. I'm glad that this sort of upped him to be the more acrobatic like he is in a lot of the comics and the animated series and everything.
Did you notice the little detail with him after she does the thunderclap?
Oh, he's sort of protecting his ears,
Yeah, I think the reason that straight up took Daredevil out of the fight is because, bro, that's how he sees. He sees with his ears, so she just used his kryptonite and beat him. There are some people saying that she shouldn't have been able to beat him. I believe it. She kind of used a trump card on him.
Yeah, I think had they still been in, close quarters, I think Daredevil probably could have taken her. But the moment Daredevil started running the opposite direction, so she wanted to use a ranged attack, it
was great.
The sound wave. It would be like using a flash bang or something against someone else. They're blinded now. They can't fight you until they adjust now.
Sound stuff has been and always will be Daredevil's kryptonite.
Which, provided no one realizes he's blind and takes advantage of that, sorted. Then I freak out. I wish I'd been recording my reaction to this episode, because I flipped out, I got up, I jumped around my room. when they play the Netflix opening piano moment, that was amazing. I like Daredevil's theme in this, the the sort of wee leitmotif for a few moments to punctuate with him. That was cool. That was fun. But no, bringing back the Netflix piano opening. Thank you, Kevin Feige.
Marvel just seems to understand when they have good themes. Like, I can't describe to you what you're describing when you freaked out about the music. That is exactly what happened to me when Professor X showed up in Multiverse of Madness, and you just hear da 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 da. I was like, oh shit! They got the theme.
Yep.
Fantastic.
It was great. They know what they got. They're not wasting it. On the note of Marvel themes, I forget which movie analysis YouTuber this was, but someone made a great video on how much more impactful a lot of Iron Man moments would be throughout the MCU if he was given a consistent theme. Like, oh, in Iron Man 1, he's got like a theme, in Iron Man 2, he's got a theme. Then in the Avengers, they have a new piece of music that's Iron Man's theme. And then in Homecoming, there's a different piece of music that's Iron Man's theme. It's like, no, if they just had one consistent one through all his appearances, that was a really interesting sort of breakdown. I forget who it was. I'll find the link and send it to Neil, and we'll put it in the description.
That is my cousin said something like that forever ago. Ironically enough, when we were arguing which is better, DC or Marvel. And at the time, we were only on Avengers 2, so it was still a very early argument. But one of the things he brought up was, if I play you the Superman theme and the Batman theme, you immediately know what these are. What is this? He played a random song, and I was like, I don't know, something in Avengers? And he was like, no, that is the first main theme Iron Man ever had, I guess. That is Iron Man's soundtrack. And I was like, point taken. Captain America had a theme, though, which I love. And Loki's music, Jesus.
The Avengers fan theme, the Guardians one. There's a lot of good ones. Ant-Man's.
They have fixed this with time.
Yeah.
But there was definitely a time where it was like, nah, man. Not a ton of music in the MCU.
Not a lot of iconic music in the MCU.
Oh, yeah. That's why when we hear those stings of songs we know, we're like, oh, shit! Like, that's enough to make people freak out. So I like that they've learned how to weaponize that.
The power of music, yeah. See Multiverse of Madness. I love that Jen left a note. When she picked up the car, I'm like, oh my god, what are you doing?
She left a note? What? I don't remember this scene.
No, there's just like is like a line as they're leaving the car park together. Like, is this your first time destroying a car park? Oh, I should leave a note. just fun. Then my note of, ow, my feet hurt from jumping around my room. And we get to the goons versus henchmen discussion. Cool.
Again,
I didn't know that. Thanks for the clarification.
Again, superheroes just talking in their element. It's freaking awesome. This is something that would happen in the damn comics. Because, like, the way superheroes in the Marvel Universe usually greet each other is as coworkers. Like, obviously there are exceptions to that where some people are, like, really close friends. But I remember this one comic with Wolverine and Spider-Man, where Wolverine just walks up and goes, did you watch the game last night? Or something like that. I love casual talk and, like, debating whether or not the villains are, like, committed or not. It's funny. And they don't do it enough.
Yeah, then fucking just their interaction again, really cute. Listening to the heartbeat moment. The I'll do my thing, you do your thing. No, you don't do this. All their interactions, fantastic. Tatiana wearing the practical suit, fucking doing a wee dance on the roof and everything. Great. Why do the tadpoles have a crossbow?
I was wondering the same damn thing. Thank you. I didn't get it.
I assume because Leapfrog just bought a bunch of weapons. I was like, here you guys go.
No, I just figured it out. You know what it is? They're probably not crossbows. They're probably... Those crossbows probably shoot poison darts. Poison dart frog.
I was expecting a really shit frog pun, but that was well reasoned.
I think that's actually why he did it, because the whole time I was looking and I was like, why the fuck are they using crossbows? That doesn't explain the man who had like a chain going on. Wasn't there someone with like a mace?
Yeah.
You know, those medieval mace frogs.
It's
Happens
like
all the time.
frogs who can throw up their stomach. That is a thing you spin around.
Yeah, that's what it is. We're not going to find logic in all of it.
Of all the melee weapons in the world, that's probably the one that looks most like a tadpole.
I guess? I don't know. I don't want to justify this.
Who knows why madmen do what they do?
I mean, I do love the complaints where he's like, I don't want to be a frog baby, man. I thought you knew tadpoles were frog babies.
Yeah, again, just the fun. Again, characters in this world having the conversations that they would have, making it feel realistic, lived in, great. More of that, please.
If you want to be a frog-themed superhero, that's fine with me, man. Just don't make me a baby frog. I can imagine the Joker's henchmen being like, do we really have to wear clown makeup? Can't I just hold a gun and be intimidating?
Which, again, Dark Knight handles well by its masks is what they're wearing to hide their faces from cameras and stuff, and so it's easier for them to kill one another. And yeah, there are ways around it, but especially in the more funny, corny comic booky way of doing things. Absolutely, yeah. The behind the scenes before a heist of the Joker henchmen all doing each other's makeup,
I just imagine one person doesn't have makeup and Joker just shoots him. You didn't wear the costume right. Sorry. Didn't fulfill your job.
Yeah, violated the contract.
Yeah, asshole. I'm mad at you. You're the one who did something wrong.
This is your fault. You made me do this.
God, now I want more scenes.
Against the hallway fight.
Being like that.
I was disappointed that they didn't, it's such an obvious setup. You have to do a one take. Come on. They didn't. It was still fun. It was still great. She-Hulk smashing through the top and everything.
Here's the thing. They're
set up there. I just assume for whatever reason they're like, okay.
They're saving it.
We can't do this.
They're saving it. We gotta do it during his show. They're saving
it. Yeah.
They're giving a little reference to it. They're like, yes, we know how much you love the hallway fights. Here's Daredevil in a hallway. I think
it is the worst Daredevil hallway fight so far, but it's still good.
Oh yeah. Oh, by far.
Just not as good as season 1 of Daredevil, season 2 of Daredevil. Oh my god! Just you wait for season 3. Season 3's one take is 11 minutes long.
What? Okay, that kind of entices me a little.
You need to be watching season 3, man.
Alright, I'll finish season 2.
Finish season 2, and then She-Hulk's done, and then I will praise the shit out of season 3 of Daredevil.
You have definitely sold me on it. It's next on my list. I just rewatched The Good Place, so I'm kind of.
What I love though is, I think whether we record it on record the talk or not, when we talk about Daredevil season 3, doing an 11-minute one take means you have people without giving anything away, let's say right at the end of the hallway, who just have to wait for 10 minutes before they can actually action.
Oh yeah.
And if anyone fucks up that at any point during that, you have to go back to the start. So those guys are waiting there for a day of filming just for the right take.
In the show Haunting at Hill House, I think it's called. Fucking, there's one episode, you'll know the episode I'm talking about if you ever watched the show, where there are cuts in it, but they're like strategic cuts that you can barely see. Most of the show is one take. Most of this episode, I mean, is one take. And it is a gnarly scene.
I've just remembered an extra selling point to the Daredevil one is it's a one take and they swap between Charlie Cox and his stunt double throughout it.
Oh god, that sounds like it was.
The bar was set so high by that I can almost understand them being too intimidated to try a one take for this show.
I mean, Daredevil Rebirth, I almost promise you they're going to try to do a hallway scene.
They have to. They will. It'll be really cool if they do try and one-up that. If they don't, they will at least do a one take, yeah.
I will say something I liked, because, as you said, this is kind of the worst of the hallway fights. I will say, though, something I liked about it, they kind of seemed aware of that, and that's why She-Hulk came in at the end. And the whole time I'm just sitting there like, well, I would have really liked to see Daredevil fight those guys. Thanks, Jin. But then Jin looks at the camera and goes, She-Hulk smash. And I was like, okay, I'm okay with this. Good job. You did it. By the way, I know I'm not talking about him much, but Luke was great in this episode. Luke was very funny. Doesn't Luke call She-Hulk a raging buffalo or something?
Yeah. When she first comes in and like accuses him of selling faulty stuff.
Motherfucker, I need Luke back in something, man. Like,
like what future character is gonna go to him for their outfit?
I don't know. I hate to bring up Thunderbolts again because I just brought them up for She-Hulk. I just brought them up for the Abomination thing. But it makes sense. Val would just hire some random guy to make their suits. And it would be funny if we got an Edna Mode scene where she's like, where Luke is like, Red Guardian, this is what your suit can do. And then it just shows him like not understanding and stuff. I don't know. I just want an Edna Mode scene with Luke.
I want that, but I can also picture Luke be like given like the design brief and be like, no, I need to impart my own artistic soul into these pieces.
Well, maybe that's why in the concept art it appears that Red Guardian has a different outfit this time. Looks a little different this time around. Maybe that's because Luke made it.
Genuinely could be. I hope so.
I just want Luke to come back. Just bring him back.
He's one of those characters that they've set up that absolutely should. Like, now that S.H.I.E.L.D. I say now that S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gone, but it's been gone since fucking Winter Soldier. Give us these other characters that can recur. Okay, Coulson. I'll be surprised if we ever see again. But yeah, Coulson died in Avengers, quote unquote. Hill, Nick are still around. They're still going. We had, Sitwell for a while. We had all these other just sort of other characters. Yeah. That, good to have them recur. Again, like Talos. Ben Mendelsohn keeps coming back for that. Great. And every time he comes back, it's great. I'm really looking forward to Secret Invasion. Give us more of these characters, but more, I hesitate to say, but street level ones,
I mean, Jimmy Woo is confirmed to come back in a couple of things.
That's the prime example, I think.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy, Darcy. Darcy is kind of becoming the key example for me because Darcy did still show up in Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was really cool what she did, yeah.
She had a short cameo, but that's all she needed there, Like, she didn't need a bunch of screen time.
Yeah, and it would have been very out of place had she come along for the rest of the adventure.
Oh, yeah. Darcy, how do you feel about Gore the God Butcherer? She's just sitting on a random podium doing nothing, and she's like, oh, I get screen time. Okay.
Luke and Jen are professional acquaintances again after the fight scene. So the devil guy's a lawyer too? Oh no, I'm just a massive fan of legal dramas. Kicks a guy in the face. I get Jen turning to camera. Is it just me, or is this guy really doing this? Yes, no, we're all attracted to Charlie Cox as well. You're good.
I was feeling the chemistry between the two. Like, I didn't know if they were gonna bang. I didn't necessarily think about that, but I wasn't surprised when it happened. I was a little surprised because he's like, next time I'm in town, I'd really like to take you to dinner. And I was like, oh, they're setting it up. Maybe this can go places in the future.
I was like, oh.
And then Jen was like, or we could just...
She took him home!
Here's the thing. I think we've talked about this a little bit when the stuff happened with Josh, and we've now seen how that turned out. I just want Jen to get a fucking win. And in this episode, she did. You're no. I just loved seeing fuck in all caps.
11 out of 10.
11 out of 10!
Genuinely. Up until before the even with the fourth wall break of Jen going, oh, we're still going? Yeah, the episode's not over yet? What's happening? Oh, we're doing the gala today? Oh, that whole, right to the end of that whole fourth wall break, and then Nikki jumping out and doing the Wolverine claws with the makeup brushes. Entire episode up to that point, 11 out of 10. What happens next, I still really like. But it put me in such a different mood that I think I'm just giving this a 10 out of 10 rather than 11.
I was, for those of you who have forgotten, because it's been a while since the 11 out of 10 has been relevant, something that Jack is aware of is 11 out of 10s are only supposed to happen once in a blue moon. If you use them too much, they don't mean as much, and therefore are not important. So, that is the highest praise Jack can possibly give on this channel. So that is...
Because I
liked it.
Was not familiar with Leapfrog, so I have no hang-ups about how that character was used. I thought it was funny. I thought it made sense. A spoiled rich boy brat, not like doing things to get his way, not expecting any repercussions for it. Great. I loved his layer and everything. I really liked Leapfrog in this episode. Daredevil, the new suit, though I do prefer the Netflix one. It's a Luke Jacobs original. It's not his typical one. They acknowledge the ketchup and mustard being a very daring choice.
There is a name.
Daredevil was great. Matt Murdock was fantastic. Jen and Daredevil together, all of it, great. The court scene at the start, great. Leapfrog's introduction at the start, great. Whole way through, I don't think what we've been talking about, I've had any complaints apart from they didn't do a one-take hallway fight. I think that's my only complaint up to this point in the episode. So I was fully prepared, 11 out of 10.
I feel that. I
jumped up and bounced around my room. Joy and excitement when they played the Daredevil piano theme.
And you know what? That is the important thing with 11 out of 10s. They have to make you emotional. And the fact that you did that and you love this episode so much, man, I'm glad it finally got there for you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I love a Frogman more, so.
That's fair. This does definitely fuck with the overall, like, average median score of the show doing this.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't in good conscience give this less than a 10.
I would never ask you to change your ranking for any situation.
That's it. Again, I am giving this a 10 out of 10 rather than an 11.
Which is why I'm giving this episode a negative 10 out of 10 to completely count you out. It's a 0. We got a 0.
Okay. First 0. Wow.
Nah, we're not really done going through the plot, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
ranked it high. I didn't go
Of
low.
course. Nikki shows up. Nikki does a Wolverine.
They know what they're fucking doing. Fucking
Ooh, there's
look.
another Hulk, but it's red.
Yeah,
And
fucking.
am I getting fridged? Great. 11 out of 10, man.
I have said since the fucking start, this show has been very good at like knowing what the fan base is gonna do. I get that. You should not be aware that I'm theorizing about Red Hulk. Okay? Just just let me theorize, Marvel. Don't call me out on it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she didn't name drop the leader, because that's the one I was bringing up the most. But yeah,
Which makes me think, is he? You didn't bring him up, so you want it to be a surprise?
here's the thing. I guarantee you, the leader has to be involved. He has to be. It makes too much narrative. Fucking when I was saying the same thing about Kang, where I was like, he has to be. It just makes too much narrative sense. It wouldn't feel right at this point if the leader wasn't playing a role. But here's the thing. I think the confirmation there, where she directly said, is there going to be another Hulk but red? I feel like that's confirmation that eventually we're getting Red Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's next episode. Here's the thing. If Todd turns into a Hulk, I don't think it's going to be Red Hulk. I want to be clear on that. I think it's just going to be like a hulked out monster. I don't even think it's going to be someone from the comics. I just think it's going to be a big CGI thing that requires other characters to come together and assist Jin in fighting. Because legitimately, Hulk is in the next episode, I'm pretty sure. Because there's this one scene from the trailers where it has Jin and Bruce. Bruce is wearing a coat with, like, fur on it, and Jin is just wearing, like, a normal coat, and she goes, "You wouldn't like me when I'm angry," and looks at the camera. That is a scene with Jin and Bruce together. So that was in the trailers and still hasn't appeared in the show. So Hulk's got to be in the next episode, or that scene got cut, theoretically. That's also possible. But
okay.
I just want to make sense of all this. Because simultaneously, this show has not given me enough clues where I can definitively say what's going to happen in the next episode. But also has given me so many little clues and things in the universe that the episode could go anywhere. There is a solid chance that in the next episode, they just go back and bring back all the other characters from the past ones. That means we could see Daredevil and Wong in the next episode interacting off of each other. And if that happens, that's when I'll start busting out the 10s and 11s. But how'd you feel about the gala scene? Did you like it? Was it upbeat?
So Todd was with Holloway.
Mm-hmm.
They were together. They were at a table together and everything. Assuming just because he's a rich and reliable client.
He's a rich client. That makes sense.
Perhaps he is a part of intelligentsia to some degree. Whether Holloway is or not, I doubt. But could be. Again, we were wondering back at the start. It's like, well, why did Titania bust in on that case at the start? Was she hired by Holloway or something? We never got an answer to that. Maybe he is evil. I mean, after the events of the gala, I can't see Jen remaining with GLK and H.
Yeah.
So,
well, here's the...
Not sure what's up with him.
It's completely possible that Todd is the reason she got hired at the law firm. Like, if we're to believe that the intelligentsia has been, like, moving things in the background, like just what happened with Josh, it's theoretical that Todd was like a supporter or at least a client of this law firm. He learned about She-Hulk and was like, "Hey, I'll give you a bunch of money if you hire this person." and then Holloway did, maybe? I don't know. Holloway did seem very uninterested when hiring Jin, so it could be.
I love that Pug and Nikki are sat with Jen's parents at a table. That's cute. Them all going to the dinner together. The female lawyer reveal is female lawyer of the year, and they invite up like 7 people.
We haven't seen Pug for a few episodes, so when he's just yelling "Good job, Jin" and clapping, I was like,
Yeah.
"There you are, buddy. See you in the
buddy.
finale." I hope you're not a bad guy.
But what sneakers is he wearing to this event? You know.
Stand up. Let me see your shoes, man.
Mm-hmm. He'd probably genuinely just like feet up on the table and start talking to you about them. You know.
Yeah, Marvel's eventually gonna sell like a whole line of those shoes. If they don't make the shoes from like the credits of episode 4 or 5 or whichever one it was, numbers, fucking, what are you doing? Don't you want money? Go make the shoes.
This time next year, at minimum, the Iron Man 3s will have been available at the Disney stands.
Oh yeah, and if not them, Etsy will do it. Etsy always picks up the slack where the big corporations do not. I know, I got some Owl House merch coming from Etsy.
Ooh, very nice. Mm-hmm. There's someone who does a very cute King of Demons plush that I'm considering ordering.
I might need to see that.
But then we get the reveal that, Josh filmed their evening together.
Yeah, that
Josh
was hard to watch.
Cheated MCU hell is my note there.
I love all of the evil.
Red Skull was working with the Nazis and everything, and Hydra and everything, being his Nazi cell and Shield and all that. Nah. I'm sorry. Josh is my most hated MCU character.
Thanos wiped out half of all life, though.
And he did it. It was going to be fair and dispassionate. He did it because he thought he was right and accepted that once it was done, he was done. That was it. And this guy's like, "Yeah, no, we're doing this out of hate."
That is fair.
I think that's the difference. I'm now running through other MCU villains and others that acted explicitly out of hate. I mean,
you're trying to find one worse than
wanted
Josh.
The money. Blonsky was on drugs. Yeah, no.
I can't think of one.
Hate Josh. That is such a line that you do not cross.
I'm with you. I can't think of one that's done something.
Genocide, sure.
I mean,
no.
I was about to say I can't think of like a villain that has done something that fucked up. But Malekith totally killed Thor's mom. So, like, there are villains who have done equally fucked up shit. Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I know what you're right. Like, there are, like, in storytelling, there are bad things that we kind of accept. Like, killing is in a story and stuff like that. But, are you getting sick? Are you getting my sick?
Possibly. Maybe I should have worn a mask.
Yeah, Jack made a joke before because I told him I was sick, and he was like, "It's okay, I'll wear a mask." If you actually get sick now, you need to tell me. Because that is impressive if I somehow infected you from here. I'm proud of myself for that.
If you did, I think we play it safe and don't upload this video just in case we spread it further.
Oh, no, my plague will go across the world. That a timely joke?
Rick and Morty just made another COVID joke last week. You're fine.
Yeah, dude, just here's the thing. Shit like this has been in media, and each time we see something like this, it usually hits fucking hard. Like, I'm right there where I was with Moon Knight, though. Like, when Moon Knight showed an abusive parent, I could not believe it. Specifically, like, to show, the reason Stephen is like this, he was abused as a child by his mother. I was like, whoa, this is uncomfortable, and I'm really glad that they're showing that this exists. What happened in this episode, I know people this has happened to. I have experienced this happening with people in my life, and it is a very common problem. I never thought the MCU would show something like this, though. With legitimately leaking her sex tape. It just blew my mind, and I was like, what would I do if I were Jin? And my answer was, I'd fucking break that TV. I'd break all of it. So when she did it, I was like, girl, I can't blame you. The rest of the world is probably
just want to quickly, before we move on, differentiate the difference between this being a leaked sex tape versus filmed without our knowledge.
That's...
Yeah.
I think it's I think it's playing with the same idea, obviously, but like, yeah, no, this is completely different and much worse. Although
like, consensually and everything between partners and all participants, sure, go for it.
Although if you still leak it,
you're a
dude. If you still leak it after it was consensual, you're still a dirtbag.
Yes.
I'm just blown away they actually showed it, and specifically that her parents were in the audience. Like they had the balls to do something like that, and I gotta give props. Every time the MCU goes dark and real, I gotta give a little props for that.
Yeah. My last note on this episode is just, I am so mad right now.
Now here's the thing, are you gonna be mad? I'm gonna ask you, since you seem to really hate Josh now, let's say someone needs to become a Hulk in the next episode to be fought. Would you want it to be Todd or Josh?
If that plot beat has to happen, Todd, because there's more setup for him as a character in the story versus Josh, who was there and had... Well, did he have any dialogue after the wedding episode?
Josh was nice in the wedding episode.
Yeah, and then he was nice in the following one, but I don't think he said a single word.
Josh didn't have
just texts.
Here's the thing. I revert you to the old phrase, you can say a bunch of words, but who you are is dependent by your actions. Doesn't matter what he says. Doesn't matter what Josh said. He's a dickbag. I'm glad.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree. It's just that they were... the character wasn't... They didn't bother to give him any dialogue.
Well, what I mean is, he did so much... Like, in that one act, I kind of know everything I need to know about his character, you know? Like, I already hate him.
I think if that had to happen between the two of them, I would vote Todd. I think I'd still prefer neither. For example, at the moment, cathartically, I'd prefer Jen to just beat the shit out of Josh as a normal human being. Despite, don't do that. That's just the situation will be so much worse if you do. But
here's the thing. This is where family needs to come in. I want Bruce to take on Josh. Or alternatively...
Dad did show up with a shovel ready to bury some fool.
Oh yeah, it would be really funny if Ched knocks out Josh, and then one of the last jokes is in the background, we just see Jin's dad dragging his body away.
When they go to, the series ends with Jen and Bruce, going back to the family home for another big dinner or something, and you just see Ched and the dad, carrying a carpet rolled up into the back garden.
You know what would be funnier? Is if it ends with a family dinner and they never address this, no one brings it up, but you can tell the dad is covered in dirt.
There's a mound in the back garden.
I hope this happens. I know it's not gonna, but I hope there is subtle storytelling that in the end implies, yeah, fuckers, Josh got killed by Jin's dad.
I'm on board with that. I'd be happy with that.
Hey, who knows? Maybe Ched will become A-Bomb and just eat him. I don't know.
If any character is going to become a Hulk in the finale, Ched becoming A-Bomb is the one I'm most in favor of, I think. I don't know how that's going to happen, especially with the intelligentsia being the ones who seem to have Jen's blood. Granted, Jen has it, obviously, but
I guess my hope is that legitimately with this next episode, Jen is in jail or captured or something. I want the other side characters to have to work together and get her out of it. Because this whole show has been Jen struggling. It would be really cool if now it shows like there was a point to all that struggle. Like, I'm not saying I need like Alegula and Manbull to come in, take out the main villain, and then ride off into the sunset together. But if they came in, helped fight the main villain, shared like a loving hug at the end, and then the show is still about Jen, that'd be funny. And of course, she could have the self-aware line where she's like, "Wow, the show is called She-Hulk, and yet I'm stuck in this room while all the cameos come save me." I don't know, man. I don't know where the next episode is going to go. I am a little fearful because, again, we've already reached the point. Whoever the main villain is, it's going to be a villain reveal. Like, it's going to be like, ooh, I was secretly the villain the whole time. Ooh. We know that's happening. And with Todd, it will not be a surprise if it's him. But, hey, I've underestimated She-Hulk before. I literally said, like, oh, I don't see any of these episodes getting high rankings, and you're about to give a 10. So, I think that's fair. My ranking for this episode is, I would say it's an 8. I think it's just as good as the last one. I do think that means that this is probably our highest ranked episode. Until Cher comes in, because Cher did tell me she'll be there for the finale.
Yeah, I don't know how Cher scores affect things, because I'm not going to do the mental math to sort of scale everything. But if I just take our scores, so that it's just out of 20 for previous episodes, if you want to keep talking while I flip back.
Well, I'm just saying, when you take just our scores for the wedding episode, that's going to be pitiful.
So this episode is an 18. Episode 5, Between Just You and Me, is a 15.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, that's episode 7. Episode 6, the wedding episode, is 7.
7 out of 20. Deserved. You got there.
Mean Green and Straight poured into these jeans between the two of us is...
That's my favorite episode.
13.5 out of 20.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 4 is 14.
Okay, so we liked episode 4 a bit more.
Yeah, I think 18 is probably the highest. As I jump back and fucking episode 3 is 18 by Yumi and Cher together. So yeah, that would just be a 12 between the two of us. 12 between the two of us.
So what you're saying is, unless Cher gives a negative number, we will probably be fine. Yes.
I do anticipate this being the highest rated episode. Granted, I did just jump up and give it a 10, but I don't expect the next episode to be better than this one.
Hey man, I don't blame you. Like, I know I gave it an 8 because, like, I didn't like how they did Frogman, but the episode is good. Yeah. It held my attention. It had stuff to say, which some of the other episodes did not. And it was interesting the whole time. Very, very solid. Yeah. Now, this is the season finale, though, and we've already talked a little bit about theories, but I want to go a little more broad. Let's say that She-Hulk does not get a season 2. Where would you like to see Jen pop up next, and what characters would you like to see her do stuff with? Because I kind of like the idea of her just... If they wanted to do a proper court drama, I think it would be cool if, like, a new superhero comes in with a stupid idea each week. They didn't really end up doing that. They did that once or twice, but That could have been the whole show.
Yeah, that was more my hope for the whole show going into it. I think my hope for Jen popping up again, Daredevil Born Again is an obvious answer.
If she
Thunderbolts
does
potentially helping, say at near the first half hour of Thunderbolts, we're putting the team together, assembling everyone. That Ghost is on parole or something, and She-Hulk is her defendant, getting her out.
If Abomination,
something like that, just having her be this character that we can return to, similar to in the Netflix series again. In Iron Fist, there's a moment when they say about needing a lawyer, and it's Hogarth they go to instead of like you expect. Come on, Nelson and Murdoch, attorneys at law. No, it's Hogarth, this other lawyer who also exists in the world with Jessica Jones and everything.
That did take me for a loop. I remember that shit. I watched Iron Fist, by the way. I have not finished Daredevil, but I did watch the first season of Iron Fist, and I've got to say, hot garbage. That's my full review.
The second season is significantly better, and the final scene is the best scene in the entire show. To the point that I'm like, you know what? If this is what season 3 was, and it was absolutely setting up for season 3, season 3 could have been pretty dang good. Or, cheesy good at least.
I mean, the guy who played Iron Fist, I believe his name was Finn. He said in an interview recently, "Hey, I'd love to do it again, specifically in a Heroes for Hire thing." And the reaction to him saying that was pretty all around negative. People did not like the idea of him coming back. I kind of hope, I guess in my perfect world, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I'd go with it. I don't know how you do it at this point, but I would kind of like it if they rebooted Iron Fist a little, and the next Shang-Chi movie involves him and Iron Fist teaming up.
Yeah. Because in the theater watching Shang-Chi, I'm like, this feels very, very Iron Fist going to not come on and everything at the end.
I guarantee you, at some point during development, the Shang-Chi movie was going to be an Iron Fist movie, but then they changed it. I guarantee you.
Yeah, and Finn Jones, seems like a nice guy and everything as an actor. The only other role I know him from is in the Sarah Jane Adventures, the Doctor Who spin-off. He plays Santiago. He's Joe. I forget Joe's last name. He is the son of a third Doctor companion. And when she pops up and he pops up, it's the funeral of the Doctor or something, whatever the episode's called. It's great. It's a great episode. It's one of my favorite prosthetics and stuff in the Sarah Jane series.
I've heard good things.
That's the only other thing I knew him from. And then I found out one of my classmates is his cousin or something. He's like, "Oh yeah.
Really?
Too bad the show was shit. Otherwise, everyone would want his autograph."
I have yet to see the Sarah Jane Adventures.
It is very much a kids show. I have gone back and tried to rewatch some of it, and while there are some standout episodes and a lot of two-parters and everything that are great, it is very much directed for kids, and as a kid at the time, I loved the shit out of it.
Well, question, are all those doctors, you mentioned another character was a child of a doctor's companion. Does that happen a lot? Is there a lot of that? Because if so,
no,
I'll like the show.
It's a one-off episode where, we Sarah Jane Adventures tangent rabbit hole here, and I won't spoil anything that's story-related. But in one of the later series, I think season 3, Sarah Jane and her companions, the other kids that live in the area who also know about aliens and everything, and that's their wee team is, there's Sarah Jane, Luke, her son, who pops up in a few episodes of Doctor Who during the Tennant era.
Oh yeah.
With Sarah Jane, and they've got a big computer on the wall, Mr. Smith. There's the neighbor across the street, and there's Clyde, who's her son's friend from school. And that's their wee team, and they fight, alien incursions and stuff on Earth. And it's fun. It is, again, for kids.
A few people
in this episode, it's units roll up on Sarah Jane's doorstep, and all the neighbors are raising eyes at this. Oh, what's going on here? Why are soldiers turning up to we Sarah Jane? What's going on? And she's informed by unit that they found the Doctor's body. He's dead.
Oh.
She doesn't believe it. She's convinced it has to be some sort of plot or something. And it's sort of taken us a bit for the kids to go, be told about sort of grief and everything and denial and whatnot. But Sarah's convinced, oh no, he's still alive. They go to the funeral that Unit's holding, and there's a few characters who are meant to be, this is this one-off person from a previous thing, this is this person. But then during sort of the ceremony, Jo, one of the Third Doctor companions, sort of bursts in and accidentally knocks over a vase and distracts everyone. And she comes in with her son, Santiago, who's played by Finn Jones. And it's and they reminisce, and the two of them, because they both travelled with John Pertwee. Okay, so they relate to back in the classic show, at times that they both went to the same planet, similar things they encountered. It's really sweet and really fun. More the focus is on them than on children of previous companions.
To those of you who don't know Sarah Jane, I have to admit, I don't super know her myself. But I know her specifically from one Tennant era episode, which is, kind of the crossover, let's reference the past stuff episode, which was really fucking good and featured K9.
Yep. K9 is a recurring character in the show.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
So, there you go. Daredevil Season 3. Sarah Jane Adventures.
Honestly, I should probably do the Capaldi era before I do that. I know how much you love him.
The Capaldi era is so good.
I've only seen
era, which is almost over. They just released the trailer for the final Whittaker episode.
I legitimately don't. I don't know why I did this, but legitimately I was like, okay, let's watch Tennant. And I was like, that was pretty good. Let's watch Matt Smith. And then I was like, wow, that's good. Let's watch Capaldi. I just stopped.
If you're going to start again, don't jump right into Capaldi's first. Go back a little bit, start from Matt Smith's last 3 or something, because it is sort of a lead through. The story sort of continues through Capaldi a wee bit.
I will probably do that. I remember one of the last episodes I watched, the Doctor got old. He got real old.
Yeah, that's Matt Smith's last one.
But yeah, we're done with Doctor Who, so I guess which characters would you want to see She-Hulk?
I mean, my sonic screwdriver is just out of reach.
Look, I can barely remember the Tennant era, which means it's time for me to go rewatch it.
Absolutely, never mind. Go right back to the start of the reboot with Eccleston and just watch the whole thing.
I think that's what I'll do. I'll just go back and rewatch New Who. But then knowing
that's what
me,
I did this year with my flatmates.
You know what? I might rewatch the Tennant era and then just. I think I remember the Smith era. Maybe we'll just jump over him and do Capaldi.
Meh.
I will say, Doctor Who, Tennant is the only Doctor who has made me cry so far. But maybe Capaldi can change that. I don't know. Eccleston got close.
Changes that for me.
Eccleston got close.
She-Hulk.
Yeah, Eccleston counts. He played Malekith.
The purple guy. Fucking Tennant.
Yeah, and Matt Smith was in Morbius as whoever the fuck he was in Morbius. Have you seen Morbius?
I saw Morbius in theaters.
I have not seen Morbius.
The first time round.
God, my heart was broken. That trailer was so good, and then it was just... Yeah, She-Hulk! So... the character I want to see her hang out with... God, I didn't think about this. I should have thought about this.
Yeah, a character to see her hang out with.
Well, I'd like to see her hang out with Valkyrie. Because...
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Valkyrie and Nebula are kind of the two I'd like to see her hang out most with, because first of all, I think Nebula would hate her. And honestly, Drax might be funny too. Like, how would Drax respond to seeing someone break the fourth wall in front of him? That would be funny. But
it would be funny, but I can also see him, where all of his interactions with Mantis of like, oh, you are incredibly ugly, and I can imagine him, but he really likes Mantis, and I ship that. But I can see him like going, oh, She-Hulk is this perfect woman.
Oh, I could totally see
by
that.
Jen or something.
I could see him falling in love with her. That would be funny. God, it sucks that like Drax might be out after Guardians 3. That being said, I'm super excited for that film. I guess
special first.
If there's one character I would like to see her like defend in court, like have some sort of involvement with, I guess it would probably be. I'm trying to think of crazy Marvel characters, because here's the thing. I'm sick, so immediately I was like, what character would I like to see She-Hulk hang out with? Oh, it'd be cool if she hung out with Harley Quinn. And then I was like, wait, no. There might be a key problem with that.
Off the top of my head, Spider-Man, again, just with the whole mask thing and secret identities and everything and how that plays into the law would be really cool. But also, Justin Hammer would be really fun. Getting him out of prison.
Have you heard the two theories that have to do with... I guess this is what we'll end on. But have you heard the two theories that have sparked because of Daredevil's cameo?
Don't believe so.
The first one is, since the Sokovia Accords have been, like, officially, by the episode's admission, they're done. They've been revoked. There are theories that the second Civil War, Civil War II, which happened in the comics, will be Team She-Hulk and Team Daredevil. Daredevil arguing that secret identities must remain a secret. She-Hulk arguing that the world needs to know. I think that's reaching a little. That being said,
a good setup for a Civil War II, but not with them as the leaders of the respective sides. Them on the different sides, sure. I don't see Daredevil leading a side like Cap or Tony did, or Jen for that matter.
Oh yeah, I don't see it either. That being said, in the comics, the two that did it was Iron Man, Tony and Captain Marvel. My bad. I could kind of
X-Men related stuff that caused that. So let's wait and get them involved.
Here's the thing: I guarantee you that if they do Civil War II, they're not going to adapt the Civil War II comics.
Steve is already out of the picture.
There was some good stuff in those comics. There was some cool stuff that also happened during Hydra Cap part of the comics, so there's some bad stuff in there. Those comics are bad. I'm just going to be real. The overall story is bad. So if they do Civil War II, they're going to...
It's a good premise. It was just handled poorly.
Yeah. The other theory, here's the thing. I don't think this is going to happen. But I love that we live in a world now where this could happen. Some people think that Jen might get pregnant after banging Matt. Here's the thing. I don't think that's going to happen. What if it did?
We are devolving into the fucking parodies of ourselves.
Yeah.
People versus Emil Blonsky. And, is She-Hulk having the Abominations baby?
Oh, God, they called this out, too.
Yeah, come on.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I want to follow this thought train for 1 minute. Just one. A character with Daredevil and Hulk's powers. That's kind of cool. And if they did have a kid, which I'm not saying they're gonna, but if they did have a kid... That's a completely original thing that's just in the MCU. That's never happened before. So that would
Yeah.
probably be our first MCU original character. Like our first huge one. I'm not saying it's the first MCU original character, there's plenty. But
Yeah.
it would be the first really, really big superhero-y one. And I have nothing else to say. We've given our rankings. Do you have any more final thoughts before we go into the finale?
That just on the binary yes or no, I am gonna say no to a Hulk transformation for Todd or Josh, or I'm not expecting She-Hulk to get into a brawl with a bigger, scarier, meaner baddie.
I'm gonna disagree. If they've set up the blood, I think they're gonna do it. Now, who is it gonna be? I don't know, but I do think somebody. You gotta fight a Hulk with a Hulk, my man.
Yeah, I think my expectation for the blood in the not a Hulk versus a Hulk version timeline branch is that it's just going to be it gets into the leader's hands, cool reveal of the leader. That's in his arsenal now for New World Order, making a new super soldier serum or something.
I mean, that's super gonna happen. The leader is probably gonna be one of the after credit scenes. Now, here's the true thing. Are they gonna end on killing Josh and burying him in the backyard? We both hope yes, right?
I hope yes. Expect, unfortunately, no. Hope deeply.
Expect no. Pray for every night before bed, yes. All right, Jack, plug your stuff, and then let's get the fuck out of here.
Sure. Hello, everyone out there on the internet. I'm Jack of all trades. You can find me, Jack of all trades, on YouTube. I have had a bit of a sore throat the past few weeks, so recording and editing is recording is ahead of schedule because I bulk recorded a bunch of stuff, but editing is a bit behind now, and I haven't recorded anything new. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean Part 6, Part 2, that's on the way out, slowly churning that out at the moment. Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 has just started. I'm not intending to react to that, but if there's demand for it, I'd be happy to. Made in Abyss Season 2 just ended. I haven't watched any of it yet, but people liked the thoughts on the movie, so again, I'd be open to that if there's much demand for it. But the big series just starting after I finish getting all the JoJo stuff out is My Hero Academia Season 6 is starting this month. So I will be covering that week to week, though I might give it a week of buffer. And when episode 2 comes out, my episode 1 video will come out when episode 2, episode 3 staggered a week behind, just so I can get things done. I have work. I have 2 jobs at the moment. So YouTube is unfortunately slightly less of a priority, but I enjoy doing it. I do it in my free time. I just have less free time at the moment. And also, of course, later this month, we'll be having my top 10 favorite Disney villain video coming out. That is going to be a soft collab / tie-in with Neil's channel. Hi, you're already watching this video on this channel, so
I'm here, I exist, hi.
Yeah. And share over on her channel as well. I think she's already put up the first part of hers of her 10 favorite female Disney villains. So, yeah, mine's going to be coming out. And, I mean, we are excluding Marvel and Star Wars, thus meaning less live-action characters. But I've got a few live-action characters on my list. That surprised me.
I have at least one. I gotta be real, I haven't finished my list yet. I know who is towards the top of it, but I do not know who is towards the bottom yet. I know who my number 1 is. I feel like going into any list, you should know the number 1. But, yeah. Hi, guys. I also have a channel. I also exist.
You are currently watching it.
You are currently a part of my existence, and I thank you for that. Until you leave and we both cross our parallel lines. That is the timeline of reality. Sorry, I just thought I'd adopt some Abomination talk like he did in his episode. But, Yeah, I exist and I'm doing Halloweeny shit for October. Um, there's going to be some sort of talking video on here for Werewolf by Night. We have not planned that yet. We're trying to finish She-Hulk first, but once we do, uh, I guarantee you we're going to do some Werewolf by Night stuff. I am streaming Slender the Arrival currently on Twitch. Uh, I am sick as shit, which is why I didn't start streaming until today, but, you know, we're gonna do it. Uh, please forgive coughing and sad, sick Neil sounds. Those are going to be aplenty, but, you know, it's Slender the Arrival. What are you going to do? It's going to be fun. And hopefully a lot more Halloweeny stuff throughout the month, including, as Jack just referenced, my own top 10 uh, Disney villains, which I guarantee you will not be as good as Cher or Jack's videos. But nonetheless, I will do it. So yeah, that's kind of the end here. I can't think of a joke to end on. So, Jack, say something, and then I'll stop the recording. We can play this game all day, man. You think I can't sit here for 2 hours? I'll do it. I will do this all day, Jack. I want to warn you. We will do this for hours, and I will upload it with no shame, no editing. Please speak. Don't do this to me. Please speak. I was bluffing. I admit that. Ah! I got you to laugh! That fucking counts!